Overall, the goal with these cars, as you guys know my saying, is make cars great again. It's not make cars perfect again. It's a 2016 Hyundai. Okay, we're not making this say. First off, this car wasn't perfect when it came in. You know, kind of, get it good enough, kick it on down the road.
Marco Colbert, Speedokote Refinish Network. All right, guys, we have got a big one today. Whole side of this Hyundai. Hood, passenger side fender blend because we replaced the hood. Got a little bit of a touch up on the top of the tailgate. Some of these 2015 to 2018 Hyundai SUVs, they had like multi-panel rear tailgates. There was like an upper section and a lower section. So if your upper section had burnt paint, you could just do the upper section. Good job on Hyundai for that, I guess. Couple dents down the side here, the dent here, dent there. Bodywork came out okay, pretty sure on the door, decent on the rear door. I'm not 100% happy with, but silver. Silver is one of those colors that it can kind of hide if your bodywork is not perfect. So we're gonna roll with it. I am not going to use a primer sealer because we have a very small blend area up here on this pillar right here. I don't want to get overspraying that area, overspray gray. So we're going to go ahead. This is already primed from factory. It's factory primer. You can put base coat over top of this. It's not ideal, but as long as you sand it properly, this is like lightly sanded with some 800 grit and then went back over with a Scotch pad, your paint will stick. Small crack in the bumper. We repaired that. Fully concentrate all those areas. And then we're going to work on blending the paint out. And then we're going to work on popping some clear on it and not getting any runs. As you guys saw, it is snowing outside, so a little cold in here, but as you guys know, we're going to make it happen. Put some paint in the gun, catch you guys on the paint side.
One of the biggest ways to save money as a body shop or repair shop, or even if you're just doing this as a hobby, messing around with cars, always save your junk paint. As you guys can see, we mixed up like a junk silver, which is relatively close to the shade of the factory silver. We're just going to be using this to get coverage over our new parts and shipping primer. This paint covers really well. What I like to do with my junk paint is I actually like to under reduce it a little bit, get the majority of the coverage in the first coat of paint. As you guys can see, we're going to put this silver down pretty wet. It's going to look a little bit ugly when it's wet. It's going to look a little bit blotchy. But don't worry about it. Just keep putting on the paint. Don't stress. Don't put it on too heavy because you don't want to get a run. But focus on getting full coverage over that black. Or if you're putting over a primer spot, over your primer spot in the first coat. Then just come back, give it a nice air dry, especially if it's cold. Use a little bit of air to help it dry. And then you're going to find once you move to your OEM base coat, which we're on right now, it makes coverage so much easier. As you guys can see, we're not working the actual OEM paint very hard. We're actually putting it on kind of light because we already have pretty good coverage with our junk paint. So this is just kind of getting the color 100%. So this was very helpful. If you guys don't save your junk paint, definitely start saving it. It is very usable in situations like this. All right, we are moving to the final step, which is the SMR 135 clear coat. Now, something I've been doing a lot in the past, I would say probably year, is the sides of the cars. I walk the gun all the way up and down the car. I turn up the pressure a little bit on my clear coat to probably about kind of high, probably about 27 to 29 psi. And I'm walking the gun all the way up and down the car. Now, what does this eliminate? This eliminates the possibility of runs. It definitely highly reduces the risk. It reduces the possibility of window framing, and it reduces the possibility of inconsistent texture in your clear coat when it comes from panel to panel. If you're panel painting clear, there's some guys that are really good at at it out there, but the reality is there's going to be a double up somewhere, and you might not see it up close, but somewheres along the line there will be minor inconsistencies in your finish. You're typically going to find inconsistencies in the finish where the painter starts and stops the clear coat and then they move to the next panel and they kind of connect the dots. Now, this is not a bad thing to do. There's some painters that are out there that are more comfortable with this. For me, I just find that it helps me really knock down the risk of runs. I know last winter I had a terrible spew with runs. I got runs in pretty much every project that I did. So this is just a technique that I decided to implement at my shop just to kind of knock down the risk of getting runs and create a little bit of a smoother, more even finish for me and my cars. Now, when it comes to the actual application of the SMR 135, the first coat, you're putting it on kind of like just dusting it on, and then as you guys can see, the second coat, we're moving slower. And we're putting the gun a little bit closer to the panel. So slower and closer on the second coat. The first coat, you kind of just spray it like you would a base coat. You just kind of just like whack it on there, get coverage, just get like a full seal over the base. Then this coat, we're moving a lot slower. We're putting it on a lot wetter. Not too wet though, because this product, you really don't have to put it on super wet. I find that medium coats, multiple medium coats, is usually the best way to apply this product.
There you guys have it. The SMR 135 does it again. The silver was a little tricky, as you guys can see, even though all we did was base this bumper and the fender. It still is like a little bit off, kind of weird. Again, I mean, most of the experts know, difference between how paint lays on plastic versus metal, but it's, in most newer cars, it is normal to have a slight shade difference, so We're gonna let that pass. Overall, I mean, this thing came in, smashed in. Headlight messed up, dented hood, fender messed up, all dented down the side. Reshot this whole side. It obviously looks way better than what it did when it came in. And check out the blend on this back quarter panel, right? So as you guys can see, we stopped our base somewhere about in here. You can't even tell where we started and stopped the base. That is a beautiful blend. Mind you, silver is one of the hardest paints to blend. An inexperienced painter, you will always see that crispy metallic edge where they stop the paint. As most painters, they think you can, just flick the wrist and just kind of like, mist it on towards the end of your blend, and that's good enough. Nope, not when it comes to silvers. No, sir. You're gonna have to pop out some of that Speedokote color blender. You're gonna have to work some magic in there, okay? Or else you will see that crusty edge in the metallic. But overall, this thing looks phenomenal for shooting the entire side. Everything looks good, smooth, clean. Resprayed all this. I mean, this was pretty much a full side reshoot. Hood, bumper, fender. It was a lot to paint, guys. I mean, this thing, no paint booth. I'm not super happy with the bodywork on the door. It's a little tiny bit waving it. I'm not 100% happy with that, but it'll pass. I mean, standing here, can't really see it. For me, that's a pass. Overall, the goal with these cars, as you guys know my saying, is make cars great again. It's not make cars perfect again. It's a 2016 Hyundai. Okay? we're not making this thing. First off, this car wasn't perfect when it came in. You guys can already see that door don't match that door. And the door doesn't match the quarter panel. Y'all can see that flop pretty good. But, this car wasn't perfect when it came in. That's the beauty about working on these, like, semi-new cars. It's kind of like, if it already has a bunch of mismatched panels to begin with, I'm not going to worry about that little, mismatch with that. It's like, kind of, get it good enough, kick it on down the road. But I would say this is much better of a job than to just get it good enough and kick it down the road. I think this thing looks phenomenal. Not my absolute best job ever, but this thing's up there. It looks pretty presentable, looks pretty good. Look at the metallic. There is no togger striping at all in that metallic. And the hood is always where you see the striping. You're really gonna notice the striping on like a bumper or a fender. It's always gonna be your large flat panels you see striping. See any blotchiness, any striping. This looks nice. Anyways, that wraps up for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a lot. If you guys are looking for the best, most user-friendly auto body and detail products in the world, there's one place you need to go. www.speedokote.com. They have everything you guys need, start to finish, to get your projects done. While you're there, type in my name, Marco, as a sales rep. All the proceeds go to the YouTube page so we can continue making cool videos like this, teaching you guys how to do stuff at home on your cars. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Like and subscribe. New videos every